Am I the a-hole for kicking my husband out after he made a tantrum because my son refuses to call him dad? My husband, Josh 30, and I 32 female, have been married for over a year and dated for 5. I have a son, Sam, 12, from a previous relationship. My ex and I are nowhere near friends, but he's an amazing father towards our kid in every possible way. My kid adores his father and they look pretty much alike. Josh and I have been trying to get pregnant for 2 years without success because he has a low count. We've tried everything, but right now we can only hope that it happens naturally since we can't afford more treatments. I guess that out of sadness, Josh has been around Sam a bit more, trying to get him to do things together and spend some time. Sam loves him, but he sees my husband as an authority or uncle figure and not like a dad. Now, Josh has been trying to get Sam to call him dad or father since we began to try to have a baby because he doesn't want my son to feel left out. But Sam has refused every single time and continues to call him Josh, and it's okay. I had a talk with my husband about how Sam just prefers his name and that it's nothing personal, and after a few more times, Josh desisted. But right now, my husband has begun to try again, and Sam continues to refuse, saying that he already has a daddy, and that he doesn't like the pressure Josh puts on him. I've tried to talk to my husband again, but every time he just says that it's not fair my ex gets all the credit while he's been a father figure for my kid half of his life. I told him that we cannot force Sam to call him something he doesn't want to, and that not being called dad doesn't make him less than my ex. I thought that was it. But yesterday while we were having dinner, Sam told my husband, "Josh, look at this." And my husband totally snapped. He grounded my son and took a switch, saying that unless he starts to call him dad, he won't get it back. Sam was almost crying, and I told him that none of that was going to happen because we won't force him to do something he doesn't want to. My husband began to throw a tantrum about how it's not fair, how Sam's looks so much like my ex that it's always a reminder that he deserves more respect. I told him to get out of the house until his mind is clear and doesn't feel that fighting a kid is right. I get that Josh feels desperate and hurt, but I don't think that making Sam call him dad is the right move. However, I could be wrong. I know that my ex won't have any problem sharing the title, and I'm afraid I might be the a-hole for not taking Josh's feelings into consideration. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You're standing up for your son and what he's comfortable with. Your husband has absolutely no right to force this, or gets mad when your son doesn't like it. Your husband is the a-hole, all the way. Protect your son. Husband needs therapy to deal with the struggles he's facing. Wanting to be a father doesn't give you the right to bully and force a child into calling you dad. This. AITA is full of stories about childless step-parents who try to force their step-kids to treat them like full parents, and ended up not only alienating the kids from themselves, but also from the bi-parent they're married to. You need to have a serious talk with Josh and insist on therapy for him, with maybe a family component, so that he can hear Sam's feelings on the matter in a situation that will allow him to really hear them. Not stay home. Yep. My dad forced us to refer to my stepmother as mom as soon as they married. I was 13 at the time and my bio mother had always been our primary caregiver. Despite the fact that she made no effort to get to know or connect with us, they would both throw tantrums if we didn't celebrate her on Mother's Day, or in any way speak or act as though she was not our bio mom. His reasoning was that she didn't have her own children, so we owed that to her. 3 out of 4 of us are completely no contact as adults. You cannot force children to feel a certain way about you. It's just going to drive the kid further away. Not stay home. Put your son first. Your husband is out of line, and being upset with your son for looking like your ex is messed up. Real love doesn't divide or require titles. Your son is never going to feel comfortable with a stepfather acting like this, and you have a duty to protect him. You did exactly what you should have. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother and sister that I can't support them in what they are doing? The gist of this is, 3 years ago my siblings and I found out our mom had cheated on our dad for several years of their marriage. We found out at the same time. Then we all took a DNA test, and only I was my dad's bio kid. It destroyed my parents' marriage, and Dad walked away from Mom. My siblings said that at the time he was their dad no matter what, and he said they were his kids no matter what, and never wanted them to feel otherwise. A year ago, they decided they wanted to meet their bio fathers. I noticed that at the time that it really stung my dad that they had any interest, though he never said anything or acted differently, not even to me when I tried to be a shoulder to lean on. Both of my siblings met their bio fathers, and both have built relationships up with these men. Now, my sister has decided she wants both dads to walk her down the aisle. It crushed our dad. He admitted to me afterward that he felt like he wasn't good enough. And he had a mixture of emotions because he never signed up to be one of the dads in the picture. He never wanted to be a co-dad. But now he is because his ex-wife had so many affairs. What makes it worse is these new relationships are getting more time. And he is noticing he sees them less because they are busy working on their bio relationship. My siblings have mentioned wanting to invite these bio fathers to family events and dinners. They want our dad to meet them, and they want a life where both men have the title for each. I told them I can't support this, that this is killing our dad, and I can't stand to see what this is doing to him. They said he's still their dad, but I told them they have essentially cast him aside in favor of these other fathers, and given he's the one who was there their whole lives, they can't expect everyone to be happy and be fine with us. My brother said he doesn't really love them if he doesn't want this for them, and they both called me an A for refusing to support them as their baby sister. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. It's one thing to meet a bi dad, but walking her down the aisle? Some guy had slept with a married woman with kids, and he gets equal billing as the guy who raised her? Your dad has to walk down the aisle with him like he's his gay husband, the dude his wife cheated with, and who kid now pics too. I understand wanting to meet his bi dad, but this is just mean. The kids are allowed to want to build a relationship with their bi dad. That is normal. It seems to me like it is the same as loving your mom and dad, except that they love their dad, and they need to get to know these new dads. We don't know if those men knew that they were sleeping with a married woman, or even if they knew that they had kids until they were contacted. The first dad needs to express his hurt to the kids in a calm manner using I statements. I feel hurt that you spent less time with me, I am left feeling less loved, etc. And the siblings need to reassure their first and main proper dad that they still love him, and reinforce that bond. I don't think that the kids are a-holes though, not from what was said in the original post. Opie's dad isn't saying they can't have those relationships. He's saying it hurts him to be asked to spend time with the man his wife ducked behind his back. And that's fair. That can have two fully separate relationships they just won't. I think it's strange that the sister expects the dads to be buddies and walk her down the aisle. The dad clearly doesn't want anything to do with those other men. Not today, home. It's understandable that your siblings want to get to know their bi dad. Of course, this is going to hurt your dad, but you can't blame your siblings for that. But it is ridiculous that your siblings want your dad to have any kind of relationship with their bi dads. These are the guys that his wife cheated on him with. No a-holes here except the cheating mom who caused all this drama. It's natural for a person, your siblings, to want to know about their biological roots, and if they were able to connect with those people, that's their choice to make. It's natural for your dad to feel hurt at having to share the title of dad with a man who helped his wife cheat on him for kids he raised. I wouldn't blame him if he said no to walking your sister down the aisle alongside her bi dad. Again, a man who helped his wife cheat on him. It's natural for you to be indignant on your dad's behalf and want no part of hurting him, and not being able to understand a point of view of your siblings to say they consider your dad their dad, but don't seem to take into consideration how much their actions are hurting him. And you are not obligated to take part in supporting hurting your dad by supporting their choices if you don't want to. Next story. Am I the a-hole for yelling at these two ladies at the park about my brother? So I'm 20. My parents had a surprise pregnancy when I was 16. My little brother is 3 now, and we're close. My dad died last year from COVID in December, and it's been hard on all of us, especially my mom taking care of my little brother. I'm not in school right now, so in the mornings, me and him go to the park. Not a lot of people that early except these two ladies who were there with their kids. They were sitting by the swings, and I had my brother with me playing on the slides. But they kept looking at us. Even when I look at them, they'd keep staring. Then my brother wanted to go to play in the sandbox, which is by the swings. We walk past them, and they literally don't hide that they are looking at us. And then they say to each other, "Are kids still doing this?" And then I heard, "That poor baby." So they thought he was my son, which, yeah, makes sense. But openly talking crap? That got me mad. Normally, I don't do stuff like this. But I want to talk to them with my brother playing in the sand, and I ask them to say that again. Now they looked shocked. They try to act like they don't know what I'm talking about. So I ask the lady, "Are kids still doing what?" "That's my freaking brother." Then she was saying sorry she didn't know that, and thought I was his dad. And I told her no. Our dad died a few months ago, and I like to take him out because obviously my dad can't do that anymore. I was really mad. They said sorry for what they said, but all I told them that next time, don't freaking judge people's lives. It really got me, I don't know why, but didn't like the way they were being. I didn't hear them talking anymore. My mom saw me mad when we came home, so I told her everything. The reason she thinks I'm the a-hole was that I was still rude to these old ladies. It is not their fault they didn't know. But still, to me it's like, so what if we weren't brothers and it was a dad with his kid? They still shouldn't be saying crap, and they were loud enough that I could hear it. But maybe I'm wrong? I don't know. That's why I'm asking here. Now for the comments. First, I am so sorry for your loss. I'm glad that your little brother have such a good brother to care for him. Also, not a-hole. Those nosy people need to mind their own business. I like to take him out because obviously my dad can't do that anymore. Well said and well deserved. I hope you made them feel bad for being so quick to judge, and that they will think twice next time. And like, so what if he was his kid? Mistakes happen to teenagers all the time. They should have been impressed that he was being such a good father and actively taking part in his kid's life in that case. They just wanted to talk bad, because they were bored judgmental old ladies with nothing better to do with themselves. Kudos to Opie for being such a good big brother and role model to his little brother. Not stay home. Even if he were his dad, that still doesn't justify that disgusting comment. They were being judgmental pricks about something that has nothing to do with them. It doesn't matter that they didn't know or whatever. They assumed you were a single young father and decided to crap on you for that. That, and it off itself, is disgusting, and they deserve to be told off. You're a badass, my dude, and an awesome big brother. You're teaching that kid how to be a badass, upstanding guy too, by doing things like that. It's important that he understands that he doesn't just have to take abuse like that out of fear of being rude. Not stay home. I'm so very sorry for your loss. May your dad's memory bring you comfort. You are also a great big brother. Those women were completely out of line. You could have been watching a sibling, relative, neighbor, or parenting your own child. No matter which, you were doing it right. Those women were rude AF. They may keep their mouths shut next time. They probably won't be less judgy, but they may be polite about it, so you did a good thing for society. I hope so, because that pissed me off so much. Wouldn't even matter if he wasn't my brother but my kid. They still said it out loud, and for like what reason? Last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend she cannot leave our 7-month-old child in the bath unsupervised even for 10 seconds? My girlfriend, 30 female, and I, 30 male, have 2 young kids, 2 years and 7 months. My girlfriend is doing a pretty good job with the kids. She always makes sure they have everything they need. She plays with them a lot. She's a caring mom, and she loves her kids more than anything. No doubts about that. The thing is that we've been fighting for a couple of days now about a situation that happened this weekend. She was giving a bath to the youngest in the bathroom while I was in the living room with the oldest. Everything was good, until I turned my head and saw her out the bathroom looking for her cell phone while the youngest was still in the bath. Couldn't stop myself from screaming. What are you doing? The kid is still in the bath? You go back to the bathroom and look for your cell phone later. From which she replied, Oh my god, calm down. There's only 1.5 inches of water in the bath. Plus I only took 10 seconds to go and grab my cell phone. She went right back to the bathroom, cell phone in hands, where she finished bath time. Half an hour later, when she came back with a newly cleaned and suited baby in the living room, I told her that she can't do those kinds of things. I told her that I find this highly irresponsible to leave a 7-month-old baby unsupervised in the bath, even if it's only for 10 seconds. That her cell phone could have waited since there were no emergencies. I told her clearly I never want it to happen ever again. She told me I was overreacting, that she was only out of the bathroom for 10 seconds, that there was only 1.5 inches of water in the bath, and that there's nothing wrong about this. The discussion pretty much ended there. The kids were there, and it was clearly not the time and place to have this kind of discussion. Plus, the girlfriend was leaving with the kids for the day to go see her parents. Note, the visit was planned, and her leaving for the day was not related to the fight we just had. Next day, I asked her if she had time to think about what happened. She was super defensive. She told me that I was still overreacting. She deviated the subject and told me how, sometimes, I forgot to close the stair gate, and how that could be very dangerous for the kids. I stopped her there. I told her that forgetting to close the stair gate was also very dangerous, but that it was a mistake I don't want to make again, and like the bath scene where she would 100% do it again. There's nothing wrong making a mistake if we can admit it and learn from it. Girlfriend told me I had nothing to say in what she does when she takes care of the kids. That I was being paranoid and overprotective. It's been a couple of days now. I'm still mad. She's still mad. I don't feel like going back to her saying, I'm sorry, to settle this fight and move on. Am I the a-hole here? Not the a-hole. She is 100% wrong on this. Babies can drown in an inch of water very quickly. Have her read an article about it. Especially the part that says you must stay within arm's reach of a child in a bathtub at all times. Yep, not only do hundreds of babies drown this way, thousands of children under 5 are treated for non-fatal incidents from this exact thing. Lack of adult supervision. That was more than enough water for the baby to have drowned. Not the a-hole. Definitely not the a-hole. I'm an ICU registered nurse in pediatrics. I've unfortunately cared for many children who ended up brain dead and ended up donating their organs after being left alone in the bathtub. If your girlfriend can't or won't commit to not doing this again, then she should not be on bath duty for either of your children. And frankly, I personally would consider how safe I felt leaving them alone with her at all. Not the a-hole. I literally Googled, how shallow can water be for kids to drown? Answer across the board? Less than 2 inches of water. Googled, how fast can a child drown? Less than 30 seconds. She is absolutely 100% wrong, and she knows it. That's why she's being defensive. This is about the safety of your kids. It is the hill you should die on. I don't have any advice on how to talk to her again, but it's super important she gets it into her head. It never leaves your kids unattended in or around water. Period.